Hello everyone, welcome back to another pick-up card reading. If you're new to me, my name is Alvia, I use he/him pronouns. If you don't know me at all, I'm an energy worker and I'm a starseed. So this is coming from a starseed to a starseed audience. And so to understand how these readings work, they are activations, and in this specific one, I'm also going to be doing some light language, either in the middle of the reading or, afterwards, after the sort of main advice has been given. So you want to keep that in mind as we go further into this and as we do this reading. And you definitely don't want to skip these instructions that I'm about to give after I tell you what these decks are. So I'm using the Inspiring Alien Tarot, which I made myself. So here it is. And then I'm gonna use the Celestial Tarot, Sacred Creators Oracle, as well as the Galactic Heritage cards. So I'm gonna use these decks here for this reading. And as I get into the reading, you definitely want to make sure you watch the whole thing, because this is also an energy transmission. And once we're done with the reading, you want to give yourself maybe at least 30 minutes to integrate the energetics of this reading. And this is not some kind of advice that I would give for no reason, right? There's a pretty good reason for me to give this advice, and that is just to make sure that the energetics of the reading are integrating properly. And so we want to make sure that there is an actual lasting shift from a reading like this. Yeah, without further ado, here's pile number 1 with a Jade Serpentine type of thing. Pile number 2 with just a rock that is a heart-shaped one. Pile number 3 with a Rhyolite, and it has a little bird on it. Look at that, so cute. And pile number 4 with a solar quartz. So feel free to pick, and I will also be using this wand for the activations and stuff, so go ahead. So pile number 1 with the Jade Serpentine stone, which is a stone that's associated with different forms of abundance. Alright. Whoa. Already in these cards, you all are having polarities are being challenged. The new consciousness is definitely anchoring in through you and for you. I feel like it's kind of like a vice versa type of thing, where you all are able to, anchor in those new layers and levels of divine consciousness here. for our planet. Most importantly for yourself, because as we all know, it all starts within. That feels like a relevant message for you. Okay, so we have some pentacles here. That's what I was paying attention to at first. Okay, so on top of just this very powerful starseed dynamic here, we're also having some Andromedan energy, some Aquilan energy. I've actually talked to these beings, so that's what I can definitely share more about. And the Hydra energy. There's also a very powerful sort of positive Zeta Reticuli energetic here, where yeah, some of those beings are of a higher dimension, some of them are not. Although I feel like, especially when we're talking about this deep polarity, and then this card, the Four of Planets, there might be something to figure out with that, which I'm gonna get deeper into as we go into this reading. And then we also have the Magician card and the number 2, overrate your intuition, which is represented by the High Priestess in the tarot. Since this deck is actually built upon the tarot. As we discussed, the new consciousness and the new anchoring in these new vibrations is very strong for you, and there's like this new sort of a milestone that's being built through your participation in this New Earth project is what came to my mind, but it's not really a project, it's really just the way we are evolving as a collective. So so in that in that sense, because this is the earth and it is the present, the new consciousness is being anchored as we speak. So so in your sort of with this Pleiadian energy, the Pleiadians have been anchoring in the 5D frequencies and higher for quite a while, and they are very much human-like beings. So I feel like with this energetic, there is this very strong pull to go towards that new earth consciousness. So I find that the only challenge here is that because we're having this deep polarity here, and there can also there's this, your polarities have to be shifted, okay? Your polarities have to they have to come into a better balance, and I almost feel like in this case the old polarity has to go for the new to properly anchor in. So I almost feel like maybe you spent a few or more, maybe you spent a lot of lifetimes in Orion, and you kind of learned into that deep polarity. And what ended up happening was that the polarity kind of came in, and I feel like this is, you know, because we are reading for a bigger collective, so when I say you, that also means your soul group. And there might be something that has kind of stayed there, where it might be hard to find the middle ground, or hard to find like a balance between two polarities, whatever those polarities are, and it can be hard to shift into that sort of well, divine neutrality is one aspect, but I also think about just an integrated being. Like, how can you become an integrated being? So that in mind, magician with the magical aspect of our lives. A big sort of symbolism that I heard once ages ago, very early on in my journey, about magic, about alchemy, is just physicalizing the sort of immaterial, what we cannot really see with our eyes. So physicalizing spiritual energies, that is what magic is. And people can have their opinions about what magic is, but to me, spellcraft is that physicalizing the material. We're using different tools in order to bring different desires into this sort of physicalized material experience that we want to do. Well, a lot of our tools are, in fact, physical material. But there are also tools that are spiritual, and they also work just as well. So there is quantum fields and stuff like that. That's a different conversation. That didn't really belong into this, but I guess that was also relevant. So what I'm feeling here, there's some kind of guidance coming in. And by the way, like I said in the beginning, it can be a sort of beneficent Zeta Reticuli. Again, remember your discernment. That's a very important message that I gotta put out there. But there can also be like beings that kind of appear like this. Beings that kind of appear like just a humanoid. But they're not necessarily Zetas or Greys or anything like that. We are regardless talking about very kind beings, like as you can see. This being is very kind. But on the other hand, do be aware, keep yourself protected, because with this 4 planets, first of all, it does represent protection, but there is also a possibility for greed. So I would say, just be careful. Well, not careful, but be mindful and discerning of the energies that you're letting into this sort of new home base that you are creating, because with the Hydra card, the 4 of Wands, which represents those sort of milestones and home base energies type of things, that's where you're going to first of all need that protection, but you also want to make sure that you keep it like pristine. And I also I wanted to say that because with the 2 of Pentacles, Aquila, and I don't usually read this card this way, but just because of this image itself, this eagle is wounded, and so therefore there can be I almost thought of like leakage. So just make sure you're not leaking energy, or that you're not leaking any harmful energetics in. And with the Andromeda card, the 9 of Cups, this is definitely a representation of those dreams and desires coming into reality. So I'll give you a couple more activations. One for protection. Okay, so divine protection of pure light. Going forward. Protection. Light language of divine protection. And final piece of advice, of course, as with this card says, overrate your intuition. So that also speaks to me about that discernment I know with this spread, there has been a very strong emphasis on the fact that you've got this very strong pull and very strong just desire and enthusiasm towards this higher realm experience, of course, and of the new earth that has been available for quite a while, and it starts to feel like these dreams are coming through and that they are coming true. And it is very essential to, like I said, physicalize these desires as well as allow yourself to be discerning about different energetics that are around you. So that is your message, pile number 1. I hope this was helpful for you, and wishing you all the best. Go in peace. I love you. Thank you for watching. Pile number 2. Here is your message. Okay, so this to me is giving pile number 2. First of all, your stone was this one that I found outside. This is just the one that I found outside. I think this is just a symbolism of what is that? Finding treasure in your backyard. I'm not really sure what type of a rock that is, but there is a symbolism with this one of just exploring and kind of going out there, finding things on your way. And I can also see that in this spread. But what I also had in mind with this is there's just this big energetic of just like a little meditation retreat or something like that. So that something of that kind might be coming into your experience. This kind of like a, well, we have the leaving home as a sunny, and then we have enlightenment with the Zeta Reticuli, devotion to service, Pleiades, and then we have Four of Swords, the Hanged Man, as well as the Ace of Pentacles. And so when it comes to this, there does seem to be this big desire to first of all rest. That is coming through. Like there is a rest period, and there is a period in which we are able to be in this very transient type of state where we are able to sort of be in that in between the worlds state. So it's almost giving me like an astral travel while awake type of vibe, which I have felt many times, you know. So there can be that, and at the same time, with this leaving home and enlightenment and devotion to service, that is kind of giving me almost like a Vipassana retreat type of vibe. So there could be something like that going on. Maybe you're planning something like that, or have been planning for a while. And with the Knight of Stars, there's this like a quest, and it is the quest of knowledge. Like, of course, there is also the Page of Stars, which is the Page of Swords, that also represents those type of energy dynamics. And then, of course, there's the World card, which also, to me, just this whole package here is very much like just giving off that energetic of a meditation retreat or some kind of a spiritual retreat there. And I guess the main thing here that is standing out, aside from all of this, is just well, there's a lot of mental energy, but then there is this lonely Ace of Pentacles. And then there is the manifesting and doing card. So there is some activity, like this is a balance of acting and like action and non-action, and understanding how that will be working through your process of bringing this to fruition. So if this meditation retreat is something that is coming to you as like if this is something that has already been in your mind, right, or if this is just something that has made you curious, of course there are ways to make that happen without going to places, but I feel like with a lot of these dynamics there, could be a possibility of doing that. Especially with the leaving home card, I feel like there could also be some kind of a meditative way to be away from the home, There could be something like that going on with you, pile number 2 people. So I'm almost getting this, like giving your mind a break from whatever you are doing in your daily life. And what's coming through for you is this, like I said, the need to balance the sort of desire to be on the move into the next thing and just going, like traveling to different places and then coming back to that sort of silent space where you're able to quiet down and rest and balance. Because I feel like, especially for some of you, you might have a very deep devotion to your service, and in the middle of that, it can be easy to sacrifice. One of the themes of Neptune and the Hangman, because it's Hangman. So one of those themes is sacrifice. Sometimes it can represent sacrifice, and I almost feel like that might be a part of this for you. Like maybe you are sacrificing the place you live in, or some money, or maybe an ideology even. So there could be something like that where something is being sacrificed, or it feels kind of like a sacrifice in order to bring this to fruition. Maybe want to share a perspective about that. The sacrifice can be thought of in a way as making something sacred, and therefore the sort of purification process of maybe removing something in order to create a more pure sort of basis for whatever that thing is. And in a lot of y'all's case, it might actually be leaving home. It might be it might be maybe cutting down on social activities so that you can rest more. For a lot of you, I feel like this does have to do with the location. Like for a lot of you, the location might be counterproductive to what you are trying to do. And therefore, I feel like freedom codes and just the detachment codes would be great for me to channel through to you right now, and then we'll see if this reading will go forward or if that is all that there is. So activate pure light codes qualified with freedom. Activating pure light codes of divine detachment. Alright, so with pure love, we can allow ourselves to be detached. And what is very interesting to me is the combination of enlightenment and devotion to service in this reading. And there are very divine energetics here. What also just popped into my head, this could represent savings, the Ace of Pentacles. So maybe saving or starting something new financially might be a part of what can really assist you on like a very practical level in reaching some of these goals that you have. Like it might be very important to, you know, save up in order to have this dream come true where you can travel and you just do your magical things all around the world, and you just reach the type of success that you wish to reach. I feel like what this card is representing here is that you are the center point of it. So manifestation is the manifestation process happens through you. It isn't always about just these divine beings or just the sort of external assembling itself to fit and bring these things to you. So I think that's just reminding you of your sovereignty, right? So it's just reminding you that you are a part of that whole and you are meant to be, well, receptive, right? So that is just reminding you of staying sovereign and remembering that, you know, a saying came to my mind, the universe will meet you halfway or something like that. And the sovereign part of you is the one that is creating the thing. So actually the doing is very important part in manifesting, and the only kind of issue that can come there is the sort of obsessive doing, so where we're only doing for its own sake. And I feel like maybe that is why there are so many sort of polarities in this reading as well, where we have this Knight of Stars, which is very fast-paced energy, and then we have the Four of Swords right on top of that, and like, yeah, these very slow cards here, and fairly dynamic cards here. So when it comes to that type of stuff, I feel like it's important to find the balance. So I think that's also reminding you of that, of just remembering that you're going to need rest for integration, and you're going to also need those times when you are in that sort of dynamic flow and dynamic action type of place. And just as a last reminder, do not be afraid to leave your home. Even if it's a very short period or even a short distance. Like I said, you picked the stone that was very close to me when I found it outside exploring. So you can explore very close. You don't have to go too far to explore. So even though we do have these kind of very travel oriented cards, the travel can be as short or as long distance as you want. And remember that that's still exploration, that's still expanding your neighborhood. You know, this reminds me of astrology, how the 3rd house is your neighborhood and the 9th house is the world. so it's that same axis still. It's still the same axis, still in the same sort of polarity, and I find that that's also something that's relevant to you. Sending you lots of love, lots of explorative vibes, just activating this, sending it through this wand. Thank you for watching. I hope this serves you. So much love. So pile number 2, you picked this Rhyolite heart that has a bird, and this is helpful for challenging times, which is very relevant to your reading. So there's first of all, I paid attention to the 8 of Pots, which is the 8 of Cups, so moving on, and then there is also the energetic of, changemaker, make waves, and then homesickness. And then there's also the 10 of Lasers, 2 of Pots, which is 10 of Lasers is 10 of Wands. This is 2 of Cups, and then we have like 3 Pentacles cards. We've got Queen of Pentacles, Prince of Pentacles, Princess of Pentacles, and then we have some cards from Sirius, so good intentions, creative communication, and then Vega, which is the homesickness. So I feel like for a lot of you who picked number 3, you are letting go of a lot of things. I feel like it's very important to be able to move on and let go of, to let go of things. And for a lot of you, this might have to do with personal relationships. Like, we've got 3 court cards, and I feel like even with the, like, sometimes they can be energetics within you, sometimes they can be people, but these are all maybe a lot of you are changing jobs, or you're needing to maybe shift into a different way to create abundance. I'm almost getting like a storyline here, and I don't always do this, but like I almost feel like some of these connections are let go of, because although they started with very good intentions, now it's becoming a burden, and so therefore the change has to be made. And I almost, I just get this, because sometimes we have this pattern of kind of going towards what is the most familiar to us. And that's the only reason why we go towards that, but we're not necessarily going towards a more authentic match. And I do feel like the 2 of Pots is about that, like both these connections that maybe were inauthentic, but also those that are positive. So I would say there are positive shifts coming, and there's more abundance and more support on the way. And I do feel like this is just what I'm picking up. I'm almost picking up a population that might have been struggling with sort of a lack mindset, or maybe like a mindset where there's just almost been like a lack of social support, And so therefore, with this, you all are making a really big shift to move away from that. And the end result is creating more abundance. See, with the creative communication card, I got a very interesting message from this, right? Because usually when we think about creativity, we think about things like art and stuff like that. But I find with this creative communication, this is actually meaning that we are creating with our communication. So are we creating love? Are we making love with our communication? That's the message that's coming through that card. And the interesting thing about the good intentions card from Sirius is that this card represents a time in Syrian history where they had all these good intentions, and then they ended up not creating their good intentions. Like the creation process was kind of screwed. And with that in mind, I feel like because a lot of these connections started with those good intentions, they were not thought of as something that could be negative. Yeah, like I said, a lot of those connections were thought of as good intentions at first, but then they became a burden. So therefore now we are having to move on. So the homesickness card here is just representing the longing. Okay, a lot of us starseeds go through this sort of longing in our lives. We kind of long for the home that we don't really know where it exists. And maybe it feels like some of us are in the process. We're in the process of finding that home. And like I said, with these people, that maybe some of you are leaving a community, but at the same time you're also calling in a new one. And there are all of these new supportive people that are coming in with their fair share of whatever this coin represents in each case. So there is at least three beings, possibly a spirit also, an angel. Maybe there is some angelic energy going on here. I'm sure that represents Virgo, but still could be some angelic, some very pure-hearted acts of service coming through with this card. And the important part is to receive it with gratitude. So in order to really plant those seeds, which spring represents planting those seeds, it's important to receive them with gratitude and allowing that support in. And like I said, pay attention to your communication and how you're communicating. Are you creating love or are you not? Pay attention to that. And also, like I said in the beginning, allow yourself to, or I feel like for some of you, this might be causing a lot of stress. It might feel quite stressful of a change. So if I were to predict something here, if it was a prediction of, maybe having to take on some extra things in order to create that better future and to create better relationships and to make those changes that are very necessary and to start to build a much more supportive system. My advice for that would be to think about the end result. Are you willing to put in the effort to create something that will last? Are you willing to put in the effort to create health? Does health matter to you in all aspects of your life? That's what I would say about that. And I want to offer light language and light codes for moving on. So pure light codes, pure light language for moving on and making changes. then shines then I shan't these hushes news and then there's Hund News Ayay Hidden no And with great support comes great results. Maybe one more activation is to recognize pure connections. I feel like that will be highly beneficial for a lot of you. So, activating light language to recognize pure connections. Pure light language for recognizing pure connections. With all love and light, thank you so much for watching pile number 3. I hope this serves you, and thank you for watching. Love you. Hello, pile number 4. So you picked the solar quartz, which is a stone. It's a form of quartz, so it has the properties of quartz, which is amplification as well as just clarity, helping with EMF radiation, and as well as just transmitting energy and uplifting energy. And it's kind of like just a stone that can be used for all. But with the solar quartz, it has this formation in it, these different inclusions, and it's a very specific type of mineral. So it also has the qualities of the sun, which means it's good for harmonizing and clearing your energetic system. It's good for purification, and thus, because it helps you harmonize all of your energetic centers and your energetic forms, especially like things like chakras and such, it will help to also communicate better with different spiritual beings and different spiritual aspects of yourself. So it can be very powerful for like healing and harmonizing as well as spirit communication. So that's the solar quartz heart, and there's some pretty I would almost say intense energies in your spread, but I find that these are very positively intense. There is a lot of energy going on here for your primary path, okay? And what I mean by this is, first of all, with the Chariot card and the what do you really want, long-term goals, as well as the pulse of life from the galactic core. Those are the main ones that point to your primary path and those long-term goals that you may have. And when it comes to the cards like the Lovers, which represents choice, I would also say to some extent the Two of Wands, which is represented by Cetus here, is also bringing us back to that choice points. The twos are often represented by choices, and then there's like two cards that are threes. So we've got the Three of Wands as well as the Three of Pentacles. And with these cards, threes are often about expansion. What I'm thinking here, there can be group projects, especially with these two cards. But what I'm mostly seeing here is understanding yourself as part of a greater whole, how you can contribute and how you can also find nourishing elements into your life. So this isn't just about social aspects. This is also about things like environment, things like different things that you have in your life in general, different components that you have put into your life itself. And I find that with this healing crisis and purging card here, this is something that, because you are activating that pulse of life that's coming from the center of your beingness, as well as the galactic center, right? Like that center is pulsating life force. Well, not just life force, but it's pulsating light into our solar system and our, planet. So that energy is coming through all the time from that energetic point. And it is very important with the Queen of Pots, the Queen of Cups, to nurture yourself and to feed yourself, feed your soul. Allow yourself to heal and heal yourself. So for this group, it is important to heal and just make those very tough calls for when it comes to, again, your long-term goals and those, whether they are shorter or longer-term commitments. The commitment word is what is coming through to my mind here. And there is almost a sensation that like the small vision has to be transcended, because there's this Three of Wands, which is all about opportunities and bigger visions. Jupiter in Aries. So as soon as Jupiter goes back into Aries, I mean, it's not until December, but like around the end of December, I believe. And what I wanted to say about that is that time frame is going to be very relevant for you. And by that time, you should have already made your mind. And I'm not saying that to like pressure. I'm just saying that as like, okay, keep that in mind as you leave this reading. Maybe write it down right now, because it is these choice points. This is the choice point is just coming very strongly here. Really, you really have to choose what you want. What do you really want? Really, because there are things. I feel like a lot of these things can be manifesting a lot sooner than what you may expect, because when you have the right people around you, they will support you and lift you up. And when you have the right inclusions, when you have the right components in your life, the things, they will start to move. They will start to move forward. Things will start to smoothen out and get better. Yeah, I feel like with the pulse of life, and then we have this healing crisis and purging, I feel like with these two cards especially, it can be, yeah, you might be really feeling these energy waves that are coming through this portal, especially this 1111 portal, or just any eclipses, you know, you might be really feeling this. And it's important to, you know, integrate those things and again allow those lower vibrations to be purged. And with especially this card in mind, do not be scared of the healing crisis. I'm almost getting this feeling like, even though this is a very, looks to be very positive spread, it almost feels like there's this discomfort, and maybe some of you might be having this feeling like, okay, is this really gonna be worth all of this struggle, like in the end? And what I want to say is absolutely yes, because I can say, as someone who has gone through many healing crises, it is worth all of the low-key chaos that you might be going through. And I find that with you especially, there might be a lot of, you know, because with the Lovers card, that can be about inner polarities coming together as well, and a form of self-love. These two are speaking strong self-love to me. And I find that maybe the healing crisis is awakening that in you, and that might bring new perspectives into what these long-term goals really are, what they are starting to become, right? Like, when you love yourself, you might start to make different choices when you're fully in love with yourself. When you are loving yourself, those choices might start to become different. And that's totally okay, you know? That's totally okay. It's totally okay to, you know, make some choices that are a little bit different whenever you have found a new level of security within yourself. And I do almost feel like a part of this purging is like letting go of these kind of trivial things, letting go of these things that feel like in the long-term game they are not gonna matter. So this is just about letting go of those goals that you really don't see yourself going for in the future. And it's kind of like where maybe some of these paths that you might have been thinking of going on are just gonna fall away because you're choosing the higher path. So what the light language activation will help you with, first of all, support in healing crisis. So whatever you need in this specific healing crisis and purging experience, I am transmitting those pure light codes to you. another activation that I feel would be very beneficial is to have the daringness to go towards that highest timeline. Just have the courage to push towards the highest outcome. Pure light codes. Activate pure light codes for choosing the highest path. Make sure you do your part and you call in the right components for these transformations that you are going through, because the support will be there. I see a lot of support just coming your way, just as I finished that light language. It started to feel really strong and clear. So the right support, the right partnerships are going to be there, and the right components, whatever it is for you, whether it is people, whether it is tools, whether it is a space or something else. Keep your head up, keep your faith strong, and remember to follow just the pulse of your own life. And remember to make those higher choices. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening. I love you, and I hope you got something out of this reading. Thank you so much for listening and watching and receiving all of these transmissions. I hope they serve you, and if you are still watching, thank you for watching this far. I hope this helped you. I hope you enjoyed this type of reading. It's very different. I did not expect to do this, but here we are, had an idea and I went with it. So this is maybe the new way that I will do some of my readings, who knows. Yeah, if you want to support the channel, you can give this video a thumbs up. And once you're done integrating, remember what I said in the beginning, it's good to let these sit for like half an hour without any technology, well, as much of no technology as possible. and not consuming much media unless it's some kind of a cleansing frequency tone, or something that holds you in like a clear frequency. But I would recommend like quiet, maybe sitting quiet for like 30 minutes to let all of that integrate. And if you want to support the channel, you can come back later and leave a comment. The engagement really helps. And you can also, if you're new, subscribe, please do. That is very helpful. And those of you who really appreciate this type of service, the fact that this is free on YouTube, you can donate on my Ko-fi page. I actually have some secret art over there, so if you want to go and see some secret art, it's also there. And yeah, you can also donate through my PayPal if you don't care for the Ko-fi page, but up to you. There are many ways, and I appreciate the support. It will really help me out, and it does really help me in understand that this is a service that people do appreciate, and even if it's just a small donation, anything really helps, and I'm very grateful for that. So and if you want to actually buy a service, inspiringalien.com is where you can find me. So head over there if you want like an actual transmission, or just reading, or buy something, you know. I also sell this deck on my website. I mean, you can find it through my website. I sell it on a print-on-demand website, so you can go and grab one if you want to support me in delivering these messages and supportive pieces of content. So thank you so much for being here. So much love, pure light. Thank you, and I love you. I will see you later.